this meeting to order. Welcome to the Voorhees Township Committee meeting of September 9, 2019. Please rise and join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Friedman?
Here.
Mr. Platt?
Here.
Mr. Ravitz?
Here.
Ms. DeCito? Here. Mayor McDonough?
Here.
There's nameplates that show us all from here, so we're shifting around down here. Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. Do notice that this meeting has been published by the clerk in both Courier Post and Inquirer newspapers. A copy of the annual meeting notice is also posted on the bulletin board outside the municipal clerk's office. I'm obligated by state law to tell you there's no smoking in the building. I would also ask that you take note of the emergency exit to the rear. There's also emergency exits up front on either side of the Township Committee. Finally, you should be aware that the meeting is being videotaped and will be shown on the local public access channels at a later date. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Our first matter this evening is the second reading of an ordinance of the Township of Voorhees, County of Camden, and State of New Jersey, adopting certain amendments to the redevelopment plan as adopted by ordinance number 339-19 and any subsequent ordinances thereto. This is the second reading of an ordinance. I will open it up to the public. If anyone from the public has a comment on this ordinance, please come forward.
Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close public portion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public portion is closed. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Mr. Platt?
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz?
Yes.
Ms. DeCito? Yes. Mayor McDonough?
Yes, so carried. Our next matter is the first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 119 of the Township Code of the Township of Voorhees regarding the regulation of massage establishments in the Township of Voorhees, County of Camden, State of New Jersey. Do I have a motion on the first reading of that ordinance?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Our next matter is the first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 130.89 of the Township Code of the Township of Voorhees regarding the regulation of smoking on township property to include the prohibition of the use of electronic cigarettes and smokeless tobacco in the Township of Voorhees, County of Camden, and State of New Jersey. Do I have a motion on the first reading of that ordinance?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Our next matter is the first reading of an ordinance of the Township of Voorhees, County of Camden, and State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 113 entitled Gasoline Stations of the Code of the Township of Voorhees. Do I have a motion on the first reading of that ordinance?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Our next section is public comment for any of our resolutions this evening. If anyone has a comment on any of our resolutions, please come forward.
Seeing no one, move to close public portion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The public portion for resolutions is closed. Our resolutions this evening are number 216-19, memorializing an executive session from the meeting of August 12, 2019. Resolution number 217-19, adjusting records of the tax collector. Resolution number 218-19, adjusting records of the tax assessor. Resolution number 219-19, certification of the 2018 audit. Resolution number 220-19, approving purchases through state contract, copiers, multifunction devices, maintenance and supplies. Resolution number 221-19, approving purchases through state contract, firefighter protective clothing and equipment. Resolution number 222-19, amending resolution number 42-2019, approving purchases through state contract, various public safety equipment and supplies, various vendors. Resolution number 223-19, awarding the 2019 road improvement program to Demeglio Construction Company. Resolution number 224-19, approving a developer's agreement between Voorhees Township and Panda Express, Inc., Block 150.18, Lot 7.15. Resolution number 225-19, authorizing the advertisement for the sale of land in accordance with the requirements of the local lands and building law. Resolution number 226-19, approving a fireworks display by Pyrotechnico Fireworks, Inc. for Temple Beth Shalom. Resolution number 227-19, authorizing the permanent appointment of Brian Hofstetter to the position of IT System Analyst. Resolution number 228-19, accepting the resignation of Franklin Lord from the Voorhees Township Fire Department. Resolution number 229-19, accepting the resignation of Scott Davis from the Voorhees Township Police Department. Resolution number 230-19, confirming the separation of Susan Brandt from the Voorhees Township Zoning Department. Resolution number 231-19, appointing Colin Mahon, construction official in the Voorhees Township Building Department. Resolution number 232-19, appointing John Galvin, electrical subcode official in the Voorhees Township Building Department. Resolution number 233-19, approving the advancement of Andrew Schellenhammer to the position of assessor assistant. And resolution number 234-19, accepting the retirement of Deborah Bradshaw from the Voorhees Township Police Department. Do I have a motion on those resolutions?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. There's no need for an executive session this evening. Next is approval of our court report for August 2019, our registrar's report for July 2019, our tax collector's report for August 2019, our treasurer's report for July 2019, our minutes from the meeting of August 12, 2019, and bills posted for September 9th, 2019. Do I have a motion for approval of those?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I just have to abstain from check number 19144 for Whitmer Public Safety.
Any other discussion? Hearing none of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Next is comments from our committee. Any comments from our committee this evening?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to congratulate Lieutenant William Walsh for being named one of the top, from our Voorhees Police Department, for being named one of the top 40 under 40 by the IACP. Did I get that right, Chief? You did. Yes. We're very proud of him, and that's a bright light on our police department, so thank you.
Agree 100%. Any other comments from our committee?
Well, it's the time of year I get to say go birds every Monday night. Go birds.
Our final portion is our public portion. Anybody from the public have any comments, please come forward.
Mayor, if I may.
Sure.
Before we proceed, just to advise you that the Township of Voorhees highly values the input of its citizens in making important decisions that affect the residents of our community. We also believe in the rights of citizens to observe Township committee meetings. To ensure that all of our citizens have the opportunity to attend committee meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the governing body can conduct the important business of the Township, we ask the speakers follow the following guidelines when making public comment. Please respect the following procedures. 1, the mayor will recognize those individuals in the audience who wish to make comment. 2, all members of the public attending Township committee meetings must treat each other and the mayor and Township committee with respect. 3, please state your full name, address for the record. 4, please limit your comments to 5 minutes. 5, if you have a question that we are unable to answer at the meeting, feel free to submit your questions to the Township clerk or the Township administrator in writing, and include your name and address and telephone number where you may be contacted. Your questions will be answered within a reasonable time. And lastly, individuals offering comment are not permitted to make personal attacks against any employee, the mayor, or any member of Township committee, other testifiers, or members of the public. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. With that, any questions or comments from our public this evening?
Oh, come on up.
Come on up, sir. Name and Rule 3, name and address for the record. Right up to the mic, center mic, thanks.
So I'm Sam Balducci. I own the Giant Fitness right behind the building from 20 Lane Bakers, Haddonfield. What other information? Okay, so this is my brother Don. He's actually the manager of the club.
So I'm Don Balducci, I'm his brother. Been in the township for 42 years, live on Lafayette. Daughter's 10 or 12 years over at Osage, a teacher. right, went through the whole school system here. Sort of the kids that were, you know, the families of everybody here, my daughter sort of went to school with also, right? So we were just trying to figure this out, how to, I retired 42 years at fixing cars. So I sold my shop, retired, came into the family business with my brother. I run this gym over here. So I sort of take full responsibility of everything that's going on over there right now. And we're sort of having a problem with the zoning of signage, right? So we sort of passed through here last weekend. I guess it was, yeah, Harry. I'm sorry, Mr. Blatt was there. And then, yep, Mario was there also. And, you know, we're just trying to figure this out, how we could appease, you know, the township on doing the things that we could do to get this thing right. We brought a lot of commerce to the town, and we actually have a few tenants that are in there also, and we're just trying to raise the flag for them and, you know, let everybody know that they're in town, including Mackenzie, right? So Mackenzie was already in the town. So we're sort of struggling a little bit for whatever reason. Early on, there might have been some differences of opinions, but I'm sort of the guy that's taken the clubs to the next level, right? And my brother owns all the clubs. We have eight in total. So he does the, you know, the legwork on the outside, and I'm doing all the legwork on the inside. So we just want to tell our tenants how I could get their flags flying, you know, and we just want to get this thing right. That's sort of where we're at right now.
So if I may.
Sure.
Harry, were you able to look into the resolution?
I did find some information and found it wasn't the resolution, the signs, it was really the other factors that were preventing the signs from going up. It wasn't about the signs being wrong, it was about the factors of wouldn't allow the things to be done that were still in violation.
Okay.
I asked Larry to look into that, and Mr. Spellman to look into that, just to make sure that what we were saying was factual and correct.
Okay, so I absolutely agree with you on the violations.
Right.
My problem here is I have a resolution that you guys granted me. Okay, my resolution clearly states that I'm able to replace the two 10-by-10 signs that were already on the building. They were already there, they were pre-existing, but they said Sterling Knights. So when I came here, I presented it that I was going to make it Voorhees Sports Complex, and I was going to try to attract common interest businesses. I was going to put a directory sign on there. So I was going to make it 10-by-10 with slats, 2-by-5 slat, or 2-by-5 and 2-by-10 slats for the tenants that I would try to bring to the town. So Jackie Bradley initially dismissed the whole sign because she said it wasn't part of, it didn't follow, it didn't comply. So I said, Jackie, they're already on the building, so I'm just replacing what's already there. So when Elaine Powell was here, I went to Elaine with a temporary sign, which I guess it's considered a banner, but it was just a temporary sign. It was no different than what Sterling Knights had up there. That's all they had was a banner that was up against the wall. So that's why I felt it was okay for me. So I put a temporary sign because Jersey Wahoos would not sign another lease. So we ended up getting S-Jack in there. So what ended up happening was S-Jack wanted the Jersey Wahoos down, and so I started all the way back in June, and I did the permits. We had them signed, we had them sealed, everything by the book, turned them in. She turned them down just because she said they didn't comply. Then when I pointed, I said, Jackie, I'll send you a copy of the resolution. It's in my resolution that the signs are there. I had 3 signs, 2 10-by-10, which were pre-existing, and then I was approved here. And the reason I was approved is it clearly states in the resolution, I'm approved because they're all in compliance. All the signs that I asked for here were all in compliance. So that happened through this board and through Cheryl Walters. So when I tried to explain it to her, she wasn't real happy about it. She was determined to turn me down. So I tried to explain to her. I sent her a copy of this. I sent it to the Platt and Riso, which is Chris Norman. Chris was great about everything. Chris agreed with me. I have emails, Chris agreeing with me. She still turned me down. So next thing I do, I get Dale Taylor involved. I try to go to Mario. Mario was trying to stay neutral, so I didn't feel at any point in time Mario was on anybody's side, but I was hoping he would just try to get me a little bit of relief with this, but be as it may be, Dale Taylor reaches out for Chris. Chris again agrees, and they told me to just call over there and the signs will be released. I called Mario. Mario said he would look into it, and lo and behold, nothing happened again. And that's when I went to the township meeting. So at the end of the day, I got the resolution. All the signs are in compliance. She didn't turn me down for any legal reason whatsoever. There's no legal reason. Now, were there violations? There were violations. But here's the catch. I was never cited for one violation. There was one lawn sign. Right now, my neighbor has 6. Right now, that little kinder care has 2 enroll nows that are 10 feet high and 6 other lawn signs. And they've been there this whole time since June. They've been there this whole time. Nobody got cited there either. And I'm not asking you to go cite them. I'm just saying, she can't come out like Attila the Hun.
Sir,
okay,
now
I'm sorry.
stop you with the Attila
Okay,
the Hun.
I'm sorry.
Sir,
but
we're going to show respect for everybody, including
I
you.
understand. I understand. I apologize. But I just feel like I'm being singled out, okay? Because she came out for a lawn sign, and then the last time she turned us down, it was actually, she turned Mackenzie down for his mercantile license. She turned Rhino down for their mercantile license because the doctor had stickers in his windows. So if we're here at the Echelon Mall right now, and AT&T across the mall applies for a mercantile license, what would it have to do if you guys have stickers in the windows all the way on the side? It's the same situation. Rhino was upstairs. He didn't have anything in his windows. Mackenzie's in the back of the building. He don't even have windows. So what was her reason of turning them down? And because my building had violations? And again, I'm not disputing the violations. We fixed them, but I was never, ever cited for any violation whatsoever. So,
May I, sir?
yes, sir.
So, the one thing, and committee's well aware of the positions I take on this, your comments relative to a particular employee. Under state law and under case law, very clearly, committee's not able to discuss any employee unless they've been appropriately noticed and advised that they were going to be discussed. In New Jersey, we call that Rice noticing. And it's named after a case, Rice versus somebody or some school board in North Jersey. And in that particular case, it says, and it's been recently modified by the Supreme Court, is that before this governing body can, you can say whatever name you want, but before this governing body can make any comments with respect to any employee, sufficient notice has to be provided, and they have an opportunity to be here, and we have to tell them 48 hours in advance. So they're not going to be able to speak to that in any individual, but I don't want you to get frustrated as to why. They just know from me being here such a long time that they can't do that. The second thing is, there seems that this is the township committee, and any business owner, homeowner, resident is more than free to come to this meeting and say, this is an open dialogue. You can say whatever it is you'd like to say to this governing body. But the body that has jurisdiction over this is the planning board or the zoning board, whatever the circumstances are. So they can hear you, but they don't have any legal power to fix it. So the one thing, so there's a couple things, and I don't know all the facts here. Mario did brief me a little bit since he was meeting with Committeeman Platt on it and explained some of the background. So there seems to be a bit of a disconnect that I'd like to, if the mayor permits and committee permits, try and address that some way.
Sure.
And the one thing that you did say is that you went to the attorney for the planning board and that they agree with you.
Yes.
And I want to make sure what I will do is reach out and find out if they agree, and then certainly a conversation between council and the head of our zoning department, as overseen by Mr. Di Natale as a director of community development, would seem to be a meeting that would need to take place so that they, if they're not on the same page, get them on the same page. Because I got to tell you, if I'm here and Larry's telling you, no, you're at 5 minutes, I need to tell you to sit down, and I say, Larry, that's a little loose rule, you know, we're gonna let people go over as long as there's nobody standing in line. That's
Right.
meant for when we got 1,000 people here and everybody wants to speak. You know, Larry's gonna take my legal advice, and if I give that to him, he's gonna rely upon that and can rely upon that to move forward. That frequently happens when they reach out to counsel, me as the solicitor, or Reese Platt and Riso as the planning or zoning board attorney, and get legal advice. So let me speak to Mario, the zoning officer, Platt and Riso, because if they, and like, I don't know where the violations come in, but I'll look at all that. You don't need to go over that.
We
all
did
that with
correct
me.
those.
But you're entitled to an answer. You're not entitled to two separate answers. You're not entitled to one answer from the attorney and one answer from the municipality. Typically, the attorney's opinion would trump anybody else's opinion. Okay, that's why they engage us to give advice on those situations where there is a difficult call to be made. I know Mr. Norman personally, very experienced, he knows what he's
Very
talking
good guy,
about.
yes.
He's a sharp guy, he's a good lawyer. So let me get the parties together, and we'll reach back out to you and try and get you an answer.
If I may, I actually, and you could have them, I have 2 emails from Mr.
That'd be great.
And
I'll speak to him
yeah,
directly.
I mean,
You don't need to, but
yeah,
if you have extra
Chris
copies,
Norman gave me
you
the
give
2.
them to the clerk and she'll get
Okay,
them.
yeah, I'll leave them with the clerk, because I printed up a couple copies. But I have 2 separate emails with him actually agreeing with me, and then the
Let me
email
see what I
from-
can find out, because I think everyone here, other than Mr. Platt, Committeeman Platt, who has a little bit of background, there's not a lot of people up here with knowledge of this particular issue.
Okay.
What
All right.
resolution are you referring to?
The resolution I
From
was
what
bringing.
board?
What's that?
From what board?
Planning.
The planning board.
Planning board, yeah. I'm on the planning board, I just don't.
I
don't
really,
recall that.
I can't remember if you were there that day, but it was back in, I believe.
17.
Yeah, like July 17. It was 2 years ago. I got it right here.
Can I see it? Can I take a look? Can I just?
Sure.
I'm just curious. That's all.
Look at the back.
I can't remember.
Look at vote on. Look at the back page.
I just, yeah. I'm usually pretty good at remembering this stuff. I'm just curious. That's all. No, it's all right. We have everything. Yeah.
When I looked at the violation.
That's the same
I wrote-
one
I
that
wrote, I wrote
Mr.
them down,
Black,
wrote down the
yeah.
numbers and the resolution.
It says I abstained. I don't know.
Well, we'll take a look at it.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir.
all right.
Thank you, Mr.
Would you
Butler.
want to hold on to that,
You abstained.
Jason?
No, I'll give it back to you.
Okay. All right, thank you
Thanks,
very much.
sir.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I just
Thank
want to
you,
let you know that I did try to reach out for you. I probably should have just did an email. And then I did have one last question for Lawrence.
Sure.
Are we still okay with me trying to get that property behind me?
Yes. Howard, that's the sale of the tax lien? Yes, it's still.
Is that going to be advertised?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Has to be.
All right. I mean, it just, I've had a lot of success with the other people in town, like all the inspectors and everything. And I reached out for Mario, and I did try to tell him, I'm like, I just want everybody to be happy. If I rub somebody the wrong way, because I know I did in the beginning, I just wanted everybody to be happy, and I want to feel like I'm part of the community. I took a dinosaur and I brought it back to life, and I just want to feel like I'm part of this.
We're glad
and-
someone's in
and I
that
really
old
don't.
why. We are.
So, all right.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments from our public this evening?
Seeing no one from the public, move to close public portion.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The public portion is closed, and we are adjourned. Good evening.
Both of us abstained. I have no idea what. We were involved with high school. At one point, we were contemplating